People around the world have always loved Snow White's timeless characters, but the new live-action movie with Rachel Zegler has caused quite a stir. Zegler's latest comments in an interview have caused a huge backlash of criticism. What did she say, and how does it change this well-known story? Come with us as we look into what's new in the world of Snow White, where even the oldest fairy tales can cause trouble. Zegler is thinking about making some big changes to the movie that came out in 1937. Zegler brought up the idea of leaving the prince out of the live-action version of Snow White, implying that the princess doesn't always need a man to save her. Zegler said, "I just mean that things have changed. For sure, we wrote a Snow White's that. She is not going to count on a prince to save her, and she is not going to dream about true love. Instead, her dreams are about becoming the kind of leader she thinks she can be, like her late father told her to be: bold, fair, brave, and true." When Steven Spielberg cast Rachel Zegler as Mariah in his much-anticipated 2021 version of the great musical West Side Story, it was a big break for her. Zegler was the perfect choice to play Maria because she could sing, act, and had an engaging personality, a time when some conservatives have said they don't like the material or approach of the traditional studio. Most people knew the latest Disney live-action racial swap rendition of a classic movie, Snow White starring Rachel Zegler, would be a failure. That was before Rachel Zegler spoke, especially after The Little Mermaid's box office failure, which needed at least $700 million worldwide to break even, and couldn't even come close. The more we learn about this, the worse it gets for Disney. Includes the fact that merely based on the movie's initial cost, it's likely to rise to exceed $300 million in production expenditure. We've heard Rachel Zegler's rubbish. Daily Wire, which claims to be agenda-free and politically neutral, is trolling them in a big way by creating their own Snow White. Snow White is not just a Disney property. If you make Snow White look exactly like she did in the 1937 cartoon with all the dwarves of the same names, that's still Disney's copyrighted material, but the character and fairy tale character are public domain and anyone can use them. Daily Wire made a big announcement trolling Disney, saying they've lost their way. Rachel Zegler reportedly wowed audiences with her Snow White performance in a test screening, while Gaydu and Andrew Burnup also scored well for their characters. I'm sure this is totally legit, but the movie still needs reshoots and other changes after the actors' strike. It probably tested well with audiences, and this info came out right after Disney's massive project was unveiled and destroyed. Where did it originate from? Insider and Skylar Schuler. "Oh no, I'm blocked by this guy. I have no idea who it is." But the insider is always honest and accurate. Rachel Zegler blew everyone away. Unfortunately, as soon as Rachel Zegler's allowed to speak again when the actor strike ends, Disney will likely have more disasters like this one. The original cartoon came out in 1937 and focused on her love story with the guy who stalks her. Before we dive deeper, hit the subscribe below for support this channel. I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. I went on Disney World's Snow White's Scary Adventures ride, which horrified me. I watched Snow White for the first time in 16-17 years while making this film, not when I auditioned. I knew this thing was going to be a nightmare when I was making this film, especially when you dump this much money into something and all the delays they've had. Based on the initial costs from last year, we're looking at something that's likely going to balloon up to $300 million for this dog, especially with all the bad press and PR. Daily Wire announced that they're doing their own agenda-free Snow White. Who knows whether it'll be good? It was only a teaser, but then there's some pretty good news, guys. People loved it. We pledged to reveal insider information on Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Yes, totally believable. Rachel Zegler, she probably wowed the audience with her performance. What do you think of Disney's latest damage control for their Snow White disaster? Hit the like button. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and share this video. See you later. Press the subscribe button to stay updated with our latest videos.